Hello, everybody. We're back again, talking yet again about Absolute Batman, and I guess the Absolute Universe as a whole, but mostly just Batman. Now, I know in that first initial video I made, I did come off as very biased, very aggressive, and kind of an asshole, which I don't deny. I admit I have a very intense bias when it comes to Absolute Batman, and I've made that known. Now, I'm gonna try to not be as much of an asshole when discussing my opinion. I can't make promises. Now, it's been a while since I've kind of given a real good talk about it. Uh, a number of issues have come out. More stuff with Absolute Universe has come out. I believe I've said a few times already that I genuinely love the Wonder Woman title. And I think the only other one I really sunk my teeth into, or at least kept some interest in, was Flash. The other ones I've just not really kept up with at all. I kind of fell off like pretty early. Like Superman, I dropped off like I think like issue 3 or 4. Green Lantern, I just kind of couldn't get into it by like issue 2. I think it's just because I'm not familiar with the Green Lantern that they chose for the main character. I think her name was Jo. Apparently, she's a recent addition to the Lanterns, like in the mainline universe. And Martian Manhunter, I'll be honest, I just don't know if I'm just too stupid to read it or whatnot. So it immediately lost me by like the first issue. So I was like, I don't think I can do this. So I just didn't bother with it. But yeah, time has passed. A lot more issues have come out. A few more characters have popped up into the fray, and recently they did I guess a special tie-in or something where all of the villains of the various Absolute comics, they all have a meeting, and that includes characters like Joker, their version of Reverse Flash, Veronica Cale, Ra's al Ghul, Hector Hammond, those guys, right? And this was right when I started seeing people on Twitter kind of seal clap over this version of Joker, Like, he already had a little bit of a reputation growing up when they revealed that image of his monster form, which I'm not a big fan of, I'll be honest. But then again, as I said, I'm very biased on anything with the Absolute Batman universe. I think the only character that really made it out relatively okay was Bane, and that's just because it's his standard outfit, but he's just bigger, Can't really go too wrong there. Yeah, I just don't know. I'm trying to figure out, like, what is the appeal, right? Why do people like it? And I know that this is a question I already asked, but I still have to wonder, like, what is it that makes people go, I gotta read this right now, like, I gotta drop everything to read it now, I love this thing so much, like, what is it? Because people are hyping up this version of Joker like it's the greatest thing in all of existence, and I'm just kind of sitting there going, but why though? Like, because to me, I'm not seeing the appeal, and I'm constantly trying to figure out, like, what the fuck is it that makes people go so crazy over this one, Like, is it this, like, super sane thing they're trying to do, or the way I see it, I've seen people talk about it, they're like, oh yeah, because he's got, like, super sane, he's, like, losing his mind because, there's no, the world is all mentally screwed up or morally wrong by design, and therefore there's no chaos, and that makes him sad or something. I don't know. It's like, okay, I guess, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. Like, it eludes me, this reason, Like, because as I've said, I feel like this universe is just, at least with Batman in particular, because I can't say much for like the other titles like Superman, Green Lantern, or Martian Manhunter, because I barely stuck around long enough to even like make any ideas of what the hell's going on with those books. But it's like with Batman itself, I just feel like things are dark and edgy and different just for the sake of being dark and edgy and for the sake of being different, you know? Like, oh, it's not your usual mainline version of Batman, so he's gonna have this big beefy form and he's gonna wear a battle axe on his chest and start chopping people's hands off and whatnot. Killer Croc's gonna look like some Lovecraftian monster. Mr. Freeze is gonna look like a skinny Slender Man. You know, Poison Ivy's gonna look like a flayed Dark Souls boss. Joker's gonna look like something you'd see in Spawn. Like, I just don't know, man. Even Catwoman's design, which, truth be told, they didn't do a whole lot. They just made her helmet like have this big glow, like eyeball Mysterio thing going on, which I'm not really a big fan of. I don't know. It just don't look right to me, you know. But as I said, this is like a bias I've got, you know. So I just don't know. And like when I bring up like Wonder Woman, I say it because with Wonder Woman, even despite all of the changes, all the flourishes, despite, hey, we made Diana be like adopted by Cersei, raised in hell, you know, she doesn't have the Amazons with her, she's more proficient in magic, she's technically a witch, you know, she's still a heroic person, she's still going out and trying to save people and be peaceful, but she won't hesitate to fight and throw down if need be, and she still has this like loving, caring attitude, and it's because it feels like in the core that is Diana. Like it's still her character, even if it's an alternate universe Diana. This still feels like her, you know. And I know people would say like, oh, it's a different universe. What are you expecting? You can't be the same exact guy. I was like, well, no, obviously, but I still feel like it should have the core spirit of that character, you know, the way I see it. But I don't know. I'm just still trying to figure out like what is the appeal here, you know? Like, I know I'm technically just beating a dead horse on this one, but I have to know, man. Like, what is it? Like, what is it that makes people go, oh my god, I love this version of Batman, I love this version of the Joker, and Bane, the Catwoman, etc., 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 you know? It's like, I want to see them do more with this stuff, yada, 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 you know? Because I'm seeing it go far. Like, we're reaching a point where I'm starting to see companies make figures. Like, at the time of this recording, there is a damn prototype of an absolute Batman figure hanging around in goddamn Shanghai. Like, if it's gotten that far, then clearly it's reached a market. I'm just trying to figure out how the fuck it got so popular, and like, what is it? What is that secret sauce that everybody is just loving? That everyone will just get down on their knees and glaze the fuck out of it, you know? Like, I don't know what it is, you know, and hopefully people will tell me, you know? Or maybe I'm just stupid, I guess, which people will also tell me, so we'll see how that goes, I guess.